Hello, mi amores. How's everyone today? Can you hear me out there? If you hear me, let me know. If you hear me, let me know. All right, so hi everyone. I'm Judge Desire for Knowledge, and welcome to the Judge Desire for Knowledge TV Talk Radio. So today on this episode of Court Affairs, it's really hot topic. And first I should say hello and thank you for joining as well, those who are new and those who aren't new. Thank you so much for giving me the time. Thank you for tuning in on IAAH Radio Plus as well and on YouTube. All right, so let's begin. We are doing court affairs this week. Unfortunately, this is not the time I do it. Every Saturday, the last Saturday of the month, is court affairs. However, this Saturday it ran short because the end of the month ended up being last month. I did something else. I did Know Your Truth Real Talk. You guys could go check that out. Last week it was pretty cool. And so I said, let me start the month, August 1st, of course, with court affairs. So sometimes it will hit exactly on the right date and sometimes it won't. All right, hold on. Okay, so sorry. So basically what I mean to tell you all is, and when you want to see court affairs, because some people don't want to watch everything, you know, there's a lot going on my channel because I'm the host with the most. So you can come and see court affairs, and I've kind of changed it not to be as boring as it used to be with teaching or trying to give you information, but more of making scenarios on what's, you know, required in court and how these can become a storyline as well, because they are stories, someone else's stories, hopefully not yours. But join me every Saturday, last Saturday of the month. Sometimes it won't be that last Saturday. It'll be the beginning of the next month, depending on how it works out. I was taping last week because I was out and about. I will be putting up my event that I went to, a little bit of some things, nothing big, but it was pretty cool. And maybe you guys will join in on doing that yourself this summer. But back on to court affairs. So the title today is Love, Lies, and the Visa. When romance becomes a financial strategy, that becomes a problem. But I'm going to tell you why. I always tell you guys that I get my information from personal experience. Some of them life experience is maximized here, and so is work experience, because where I work, everybody's relationship is in our business is in our courtroom. So I bring it out to help other people not make the same mistakes. And myself, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I include sometimes things you will or may not know, and other things that happen to people, except because of privacy, I will not disclose who they are or their names or where. Like in this this episode, where court affairs, love, lies, and visa obviously is overseas and somewhere else, usually third world countries, Asia, and wherever it may be. I know for a fact that I have personally met someone that went through this, that I'm going to show you right now, that hopefully it won't happen to anyone I know again. So I felt a need to come out and do a show on this for this court affairs show episode. Okay. My friend moved to another country. They were from the States, I believe, and they moved to another country. Long story short, they met someone, and sometimes it's not going to be what you think. They got married, stood for a little while, maybe 2 to 3 years until they had a child. The breakdown here is once that person had a child, he was actually so in love, thinking that this was the one, and the person actually, because the person actually hoodwinked him. And it's not funny because we don't think it's a game. He's actually homeless now and getting help by restarting again, because not only did he get hoodwinked, but the child also became a product of money, a status that they can take all his businesses he created out there were taken. They're getting alimony and child support. So some people know how to set up a scam really well, and some of them stick in it for over a year to have you really hoodwinked into believing they really love you. Because now I know that, which I thought the same way anyway, that the person didn't love him, but they never showed signs. It's just, I can see that when I met them. So usually when you meet someone from an island that you're not from, they may or may not take advantage of you. Can love be found? Yes, I believe real true love can be found out there. Maybe not even true love, but love. I'm not saying this for everyone, but the majority of people that have gone overseas have not found love like this before. Their love is different. So I'm going to start this show with letting you see a little bit of what's going on outside of the States. I won't mention the countries or anything, but I will align this with the person I just stated, a good friend who is getting back on his feet. But through his experiences, I would love to help other people, and other experiences that I bring here to my channel is to help people grow stronger, smarter, self-awareness, self-love. Because if you don't have self-love, anybody could use and walk over you. It's once you discover your love inside of yourself and grow to love yourself that you'll realize, I shouldn't allow people to do this to me or walk over me. This isn't love. All right. So let's start with relationships that may begin with romance but end up with accusations of deception, financial exploitation, and betrayal. A man, usually believes he has found his wife, his fiance, or his girlfriend, okay? The one. Then his girlfriend becomes his fiance, then his wife, and somewhere along the way he starts wondering, did she fall in love with me? Or did she fall in love with what I could provide? And that's a question, fellas, that you need to ask yourself. And yes, ladies as well. I've seen the scam more on men because they're easier. No offense to you guys, but you don't think with the top head. And so women know that. And unfortunately, those type of women, even in the States, would hoodwink you in a different form way. But mostly it's the same, but it's more prevalent out there that when men think that the women here, and I'm not comparing, I'm just using the example, that the women are here are too much. I'm going to go overseas. They'll love me right. They'll be by my side. They're going to be my all in all and be in all. And then it ends up being just as bad there as it is here in the States. So don't analyze things. You can find love outside there and you can find love here. But if you're rushing it and pushing it and thinking with the wrong head, this is where you find the consequences, which is why it's biblical that we wait for marriage. And we've learned the lessons, right? Because I didn't know either. But basically, you're going to learn the lessons through child support, matrimony, alimony, all kinds of things. You'll be taken apart. And sometimes you can marry and still be taken apart. But this is where your consciousness comes in and you have to say to yourself, do I love myself enough not to allow this to happen? Or do I love myself enough to see it happening to me? I see the red flags, but I don't believe it kind of thing. And we all have done that, most of us. But believe it. Those red flags are there for a warning, 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 warning. Okay. So because I've known and experienced and seen it happen in the courtrooms, outside the courtroom, in life experiences, I want to let you know you're not alone out there. But maybe we can come together and learn how to fix it or how to take care of it so it doesn't happen. And here's the question. When does a relationship become a relationship scam? That's what you got to ask yourself, because sometimes the hardest fraud is to prove the fraud that begins with, I love you. So I've seen that in the States as well, in the courtroom. So imagine outside of the courtroom, the fraud begins with, I love you, which is sad. But let's talk about the perfect love story. All right. Let's say there is one. The setup, and there are, but not when you go across seas and you haven't dealt with just situations here and learned from it. Can you go overseas and expect it to be different, folks? I mean, fellas and ladies too, but I'm talking to the fellas right now, because they get taken too easily, even in the States. So the perfect love story, let's talk about the setup. Okay, so a man meets a woman from another country. That's what this is about. She's beautiful, affectionate, sexy, attentive. Because that's what you guys like. You're visual. You don't look underneath until you find out. But it is what it is, right? And that person tells him what most women do say out in foreign women, even if they can't speak English. You are different from every man I've ever met. Okay. No matter what language they speak, that's all the same thing. You're so different from every man I've ever met. That's always the case. And then she begins calling him her boyfriend. Sometimes they just they want to get it moving, right? They talk about a future together. She'll talk about a future to you. Then the relationship develops a pattern. So you got to watch these patterns. All of a sudden, she needs help with an emergency. So you're overseas, you're out of the country. You're going to start sending that Western Union money, okay? Then money for the family, all right? Then help with travel. Oh, I want to get to you. Even if they don't have a citizenship, you believe it. I mean, where are they going to travel? They don't have their visa yet. So don't listen to the scams, okay? Oh, and I can't pay my bills this month. Housing. And then it becomes immigration related expenses as well as wedding, then a wedding part. Okay. A wedding becomes part of the plan because that's how it works. They start you with this, get you in deep. You're believing in them, but you're not seeing what's going on behind the scenes because you're across the other country. In my friend's case, they lived right there. They married the person and didn't see it. So hopefully no one is married to someone that is, what do I call them? Tricksters? Yeah, tricksters. That's not your girl. You just next. That's right. I've heard that saying outside as well. Thanks for that comment. That's not your girl. You're just next. So don't always consider everyone, give it time. What's the rush? This ends up that they see how quick you are. And the steps I just said, a wedding becomes part of the plan for some, okay? If not, a serious commitment. This way they can get you on a permanent money support monthly, yearly, until it becomes, oh, I think we should get married, unless they've dumped you for the next one. But either way, you start believing, I finally found someone who truly loves me, whether it's a female or a male. I'm just talking about, mostly we've seen male fall for this around the country. It's in the tabloids that people are actually speaking out about it. But when you found someone who truly loves you, did you actually find love, or did someone identify an opportunity? Okay, that's what you have to find out. And then after the money is transferred, the wedding occurs, or immigration benefits are obtained, be very careful. The relationship suddenly changes. Now that's what you got to find. If someone's personality has changed, whether you're living in the country or it's over the phone, please don't trust people over the phone. You can speak to someone over decades over the phone and they could be a liar, a trickster, and none of the things they say is true. It'll be false. I've known people in the States that's done this. Long distance relationships, things like that, where you're over the phone. How do you really know? You really don't know this person. Stop saying you know them for so many years. That person was a part of your life. They weren't there for you when needed. That was just an over the phone call. We need to wake up. That's the same in the States as it is across the country. If you're over the phone and you're not seeing each other as much, and they're not taking the time out to see you at all, then they have an agenda. And you have to find out what's up next. Travel, go see them, know what you're getting into. If you can't, then there shouldn't be a relationship if you don't have the money to take care of finding the truth out. Because you got to be in another place to see what's actually going on. If you don't, then a lot of things could be going on, like another relationship, or they're married, or they're looking for you to support their marriage, but they're telling you you're the one. Be very careful, because this really can happen to you, especially when you don't live in the same state or country. And so the relationship suddenly, let's go back, immigration benefits, all of this stuff has happened now. The transferring of monies has begun. And now that they've gotten everything they needed out of you, some people wait a little longer. So be careful of those tricksters. They know the timing for them. If they're desperate, it's going to be quick. If they're not, they'll go all the way to marriage and children with you. Be careful. The affection, okay, all of a sudden you notice something is wrong, it's not the same. They probably found another man already, or you took care of the marriage and they're back together, or they were together, they were both scamming you, because I've seen that as well. The communication becomes less frequent, the excuses begin, and eventually the I need space. Okay, so now we know this sounds just like here at home in the States, right? But even more when you're away, or someone doesn't live in the same state, or you've moved to that state, whatever the case is, you need to be on top of what the reason is that they would need space after you've taken out all your monies. Okay, who does that stuff? I don't get it, but you know what? It's on you. You know, I don't think you're stupid. I just think sometimes people learn to where they have to start all over again, and that's the sad part. When we could have actually learned ahead of time, and you know, some people's gonna get it, and some people aren't. But protect your assets, okay? I'm gonna go through all of this and then tell you the part that I have not seen people take action in court to protect themselves afterwards, but I would protect myself before. Okay, if you feel something's up, most likely it is. So you start protecting your assets, you stop giving more. But let's move on. All right, so now eventually they need the space after they've taken enough money from you. I guess until the next time they need more, or the other person is already they're involved with, they don't need you anymore. One or the other. Protect your assets. That could be anything, even a car. You think you don't have assets when you're dealing with third world country or people from afar outside of the States with less money. Anything is an asset. I don't want to get this deep. Okay, you have an iPad, they'll take it. That's an asset to them. Okay, and it's sad, but that's what it is. All right, so any and everything is going to be an asset. You don't have to be a wealthy person. Don't always think you have to be wealthy for someone to take something from you. That's not true. So the ultimate question is, after the I needed space, what was this a relationship in the first place, or was it a financial objective? That's what you got to ask yourself, because sometimes it is. If you don't ask yourself these things, you're going to go deeper and deeper into debt, and that person will have taken everything from you and live your life that you should have lived right in front of your face, a better one with another person. So, you know, all those years you've worked, is it really worth it? Fellas, females too, but that you have worked so hard to get to the place you are, for someone to come take everything, like happened to my friend overseas in another country, that he's learned his lesson, I believe, by now. If he hasn't, I don't know what to say, but they can get you to the brink of homelessness, and they do it here with child support, right, guys? A lot. I'm not saying that child support shouldn't be given. I've seen it in the courthouse, and not many of these women are here for child support, because most of the children don't even get their money. But that's another show on Court Affairs. Today we're just talking about how this can be done overseas, that there's really not a difference when people think, let me just find different, an exotic woman, someone who with intellect, or a little bit going on, or maybe, oh, they don't have money, so they'll need me, because some men don't have a backbone. Their self-esteem is shot. They can't get women here. I've seen them when I've traveled, the kind that travel the country just to go to a specific country where escorts are, because women here know they're not, no, you're not who I want. Some of us, and the ones that, yet another show, leeches. Exactly, another show, leeches. But the whole point is that these men have to have self-esteem issues. You have to go across the country to find a woman that will put up with you or want you, then your self-esteem is shot. You can get that anywhere, but you don't have to go specifically all the way out just because. It's nice meeting an exotic person, but what are they in it for? It's like, I'm not going to make a comparison, but I believe maybe at least, I don't think it's more than 3% that it will be real and true, that they wouldn't be there for what you can give them. All right. But that's not a fact. See, this show is not about court affairs. I'll bring in facts and opinions, but when the facts come in, I'll let you know. All right. So where does this deception begin? So it begins when a person generally enters a relationship with someone from another country. Now we're talking about another country, not our states, because some of the stuff is similar here, but it's a little different. The fact that someone is foreign, poor, or previously involved in sex work does not automatically mean the relationship is fraudulent. So let me say that now. Some go on to have children, okay? And like I said, but however, the legal and ethical issue becomes much more serious when there is evidence. Listen to this, folks. I mean, people, ladies and gentlemen, as I don't like that word folks anymore. I heard about it and it doesn't represent what it says. So I'm going to try to stop using that word. I'm just a reminder to tell you all to do the same. Look it up. Serious when this is evidence. Okay. It becomes much serious. False representation. Yeah, that's when someone falsifies who they really are and what they're in this relationship with you for. Concealing a material fact. Okay, they could be married or have a family to support, and you're the sucker that's going to get their family so that they don't have to do much because their governments don't pay them enough, or they do, and some people are lazy. I mean, what's the easiest trade? Lay on your back, open wide. I'm not putting down those type of people because some people are very poor, but I believe if we utilize this more, we wouldn't have to do those things, or to get your government to change your pay status. Whatever it is, you got to fight for your rights. You can't just use excuses after excuses and then start taking from people that have a government that gives you the freedom to make the money you should. It's up to you whether you speak the language, learn different languages, get the skills, and the easiest trade would be to lay down, right? So basically not putting them down. I would never want to be one of them because I have more going on, and so do a lot of other women, than to lay on our backs. Actually, that actually doesn't help the actual women that do their job out here. It ruins us inside as well, knowing that these type of women are what men are looking for and what they think we're good for. I should put it there and leave it there. But when you see evidence of false representations, concealing of material facts, intentional manipulation for money, because obviously things change once they get what they want, then you know that. Financial exploitation, using romantic relationship as a vehicle, okay? As a vehicle to obtain money or property? No, that's not that. Shame on you. And shame on you who allows it, okay? Because this is how it happens, slowly but surely. And I've seen a lot of people buy over the country, send money, and people are buying their own homes, or at least paying their bills. And that's nice if the person is true. But if they're not, and you find yourself out of money and that person has moved on, then you got to be really careful with your money. What are you working for? I mean, it's not what you think it is all the time. But with that being said, to be out to obtain money or your property, the marriage has actually entered into, if it's a marriage for a fraudulent purpose, those are things called financial exploitation. Those are things that is a romantic relationship being used as a vehicle to obtain money and property. Coordinating deception involving other people. It's horrible. But the question here is, was that person like my friend, simply in a relationship that failed? Or, because sometimes relationships fail and people get angry and they start doing stuff. Or was the relationship created as a scheme from the beginning? So this is what we need to ask ourselves, because that distinction is crucial. That's really important. I'm going to move on now to the street game. Okay, the street game that used to be in the States, prostitution, goes international. So we're going to go here. Some people are not going to like what I'm saying. It's not going to be for everyone to like, to agree or disagree. We're here to do both, disagree and to like to disagree. All right. This is our choice mentally. You have to figure it out for yourself. You have to decipher for you when you do go across the country and someone treats you so overly nice and they're beautiful, exotic, because this is what most people look for, which is what I don't understand. It's nice to have beauty, but sometimes, like I always say, what's shining in your face is not always going to be what you think it is. Like there's a lot of charmers out there, and that's how they get you. All right. So be careful of that. Go watch my show on relationships and games people play. I have some uploaded videos on that. Disclaimer was content is for entertainment. Okay, thank you. This content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I'm just going to say that. Thank you, moderator, for explaining that, because some people go way out and above. In no way am I giving advice either. I am just giving information that is required for people, whether on radio or here on YouTube, on IAAH Radio Plus, tuning in there. The same goes and applies to the talk show as well. So let's go to the street game goes international. So we talk about street prostitution, right? As a transaction involving sex and money, because that's what it is. But what happens when the transaction changes? Okay, because most of these people, when you go, the quick ones that you get in bed quick are most likely escorts. I like to not call everyone prostitute, but that's what the trade is, prostitution. It's not really escort and helping people out. They're actually forming sexual activities together. So it's considered prostitution if people didn't know, if one hand is paying the other. Okay. So I like to say escorts, because prostitute sounds so degrading, but it is prostitution. So, all right. When does the transaction change? What happens when sex, affection, romance, marriage, and money becomes blended together? All right, what happens? Because some of these people do marry the escort, sorry. And I've seen that, thinking that they're going to change. Somehow, some way, I found her, I changed her, or I changed him. Because there are males doing the same thing out in other countries, but not as prevalent as the females, which I'm not sure why it's always females or anyone at this point. But like I said, when your country government has not provided enough for you to eat or pay, even if you have a job, this is what the quickest and fastest way for them. So we're going to ask ourselves, is the person still selling sex after they've married you, after the commitment was made, or are you just friends and they're able to walk the street corners? Be escorted. Or has the business model changed? Let's break it down. Okay, I'm going to talk about the business model. What I'm talking about is, are you seriously committed, knowing that you still allow someone to go sleep with other men while dating you and while paying? Is this the norm? Like, for instance, a street transaction equals money and sex, right? So if you're married or committed to this person and they're still doing street transaction, that's money and sex, okay? Here goes relationship manipulation, which equals affection, trust, and money. Marriage exploitation, which equals romance, marriage, and financial benefit. So all these things, if they're still occurring and it's the norm that every gentlemen, men are going out there, regardless of these people, these escorts still continuing their job, or they find them in their job, instead of finding a decent working woman, that you believe that none of these things are going to take transaction here. That you're the one to stop and prevent it. I'm not going to laugh at you. Very few may, okay? But I very much doubt a lot of the time that every last one of them are going to actually stop for you, or that you'll be the prostitute now, or the escort, because you're going to provide them. They're going to get everything that you've worked for. Maybe, maybe not, depending on your mindset. I'll go see those shows I have on mindset. Maybe you should see that before you start going out there and seeing these other videos. Set your mind right, because it's going to be important. Everything here is a lesson, and we all have to learn from it. That's what the plan, the creator and only creator created us to learn these lessons so we can be who he designed us to be. So with that being said, you're going to ask yourself, with all this stuff, is the relationship a different type of marketplace, something that's accepted, or is that comparison unfair? Because I don't see it. You got to have your mind right. Exactly. I don't see this as something that should be looked upon. And a lot of men do, like, it's okay, it's comfortable, we have no issue with this, until they get used up, drawn out, and thrown and spit out. And then everything changes after that. And that's sad. But sometimes we have to learn those lessons because they're being taught to us for a reason. Now let's go on to the girlfriend who had a business plan scenario, okay? A man meets a woman while traveling, right? And she quickly becomes emotionally attached. So I'll say that's an alert to me. She tells him he's her future. She sends money. He sends the money to her. He pays the bills. He helps her family. See, some of them are going to be open because they need you. They know how to play the game. Some of them won't tell you they have family because they have a husband and children. And some will say they have a family because they're taking care of their family, cousins, brothers, sisters, mothers, and fathers. So, the game is what it is, if it is a game, okay? Because some people are serious and it might end up being okay. But that's not what we're seeing out here in the tabloids and in the real world. It's the total opposite. But after he helps her family, he pays for travel and all of that, they marry. Okay. After the financial benefits arrive, we said it earlier, the relationship changes. These are changes that has to be caught right on the spot. And if you can catch it before all of this, you'll be okay. I can't promise you'll be okay. You have to look at yourself and say that. Will I be okay when you start relationships out there? Okay. The man says always, I was used, because that's all I ever hear when I hear these things happen. And especially when our friend from another country, it happened to him when he moved to another country and married, even had a child and everything. He lost it all. All his businesses were lost little by little. He even bought a business for the person, salon, and they kept their salon and took his businesses and his money and everything, and even the house, and gets child support and alimony. So when you go across the pond, check the laws there first, okay? Before you get really serious. Have fun, vacation, but if you have something serious like I want to move there or I'm going to date someone here, check out those laws before you give out your assets, because they didn't do anything because the person was a native of their country. So you're the perpetrator here. If you don't know what perpetrator means, the culprit. If you don't know what that means, please look it up. I can't. You got to have your mindset right. So the man is always going to say, I was used, okay? And then she says, okay, I was in love, but the marriage didn't work. That's a great answer, because that's exactly where it was in the beginning. They were never in love, but now they can use, oh, the marriage didn't work because they were working you. The question then becomes, and this happens in the States too, people get married and they use the same excuses, but we're talking about over the pond now, in another country. This is even better for them because their laws are not United States laws. They're not the laws in your county or your state. So basically, if the law says they can take it off from you, I would be wary about that, marrying someone in another country and giving them what you do, because you can't take them to court there. The jurisdiction stays there. That's where it's going to be at. And what do you say? Other countries will take care of their own before the real victim. Exactly. And I've seen that happen in places I've traveled. I'm not going to mention where. You all seen a lot of my travel stuff, but even an accident where I travel a lot will be your fault because you're a foreigner. So be careful of that. But I'm going to do another show on that. We're going to stick on this, so I want to finish so I can go grilling. Now go check my new grilling out. I did post that, and I will be posting my I'm out and about that I went last week to an event. All right, so when she says I was in love but the marriage didn't work, the question then becomes, was it a failed marriage for real or a successful? financial scheme. And most of them are going to be a successful financial scheme. So be very careful of that, ladies and gentlemen, and mostly you fellas, because you think with visual, not who the person is underneath. They can be the most beautiful woman in the world, but underneath, you better run. Those people are usually tricksters. And you can have those that aren't so beautiful, and you still could run. So this way, when you think of visual, what's more important is going to be their mindset, what's underneath that. But I hear a lot of men say, well, I don't sleep with mindset. I don't sleep with knowledge. You're going to get it though. You're going to get knowledge after that. Yeah. So this is just my warning to those that don't. And every pretty face you think is, I laugh at those people that think that, but never judge a book by its cover. Exactly. Thank you for that, for giving me that last sentence right there, because now I'm going to go to sidebar closing message. And the message here is love is supposed to be about two people building a life together. But when one person is building a future and the other is calculating a payout, that no longer is just a bad relationship. That's where the question of deception, exploitation, and intent begins. All right. So the question isn't whether someone came from poverty anymore. The question is whether they came looking for love or came looking for a financial target. And that's real talk. So take that in. I might do a part 2, but I will say that was pretty interesting. And I have seen this happen in reality out of the States. So be very careful out there, everyone. Whether you're looking for love, you can find it right here, whatever the case may be. You have to really look it out. Look for it. Look, if you're looking for love and you really believe in it, you can find it right at home. But if you do go outside of the States now, ladies and gentlemen, and I have my gavel in my hand, please check the laws out in the States that if you want a commitment. Hey, Leisure Travels, what's going on, sis? Thanks for joining. What's up? I'm just about to finish. So as I was saying, thanks for joining. Love you. As I was saying, when you go to another state, make sure that in that state, if you're making a commitment or a marriage, if you're not, then you don't need to listen to this part. Do check their laws, because with your assets being taken or you're giving more than enough, more than should be given, that will have someone be able to take it from you without you getting it returned to you. And I've seen in these foreign states, because I travel a lot out, where I've seen this done. And like I said, my friend who lost it all, his home and everything, and he's homeless now. I'm sure he's back on his feet. It's been months, but it was sad to hear that the person he was with, married, had a child with, stayed with for 2-3 years, was actually out to get him. My thing is, I don't know the laws outside of the New York State laws, but those outside, when you're going to get committed to someone and marry them there, find out what assets are protected. These are the steps I haven't seen other people do before and after you go get your money. You go to that court and get your money. But check those laws out first, because I can't detail whether they favor the natives in that country or the foreigner that came. Usually it's the natives of the country, because that's how third world works. But hopefully no one has to deal with that. It's all by chance today. Exactly. Well, that's true. Get a trust and keep your assets protected. That's true. All of that is true. Thank you, Leisure Time. Thank you, DJ Buggenhart. And who's this? Yeah. And so what it is it doesn't matter whether you're in the States or across the pond. Have your trust so that when you do leave the state, I would still check the laws if it mattered over there, but it should, because it protects you here, and one of the strongest laws in the United States. So, just be careful of people that are looking for a financial target, and it might just be you. Okay, so with that being said, yep, in today's time, you have not, don't agree, don't don't marry them. That's exactly what I said. And like, we've all learned our lesson by marrying, not getting married before sex. And then when we do and we still have an issue, this is because we're not learning the lesson yet. So the Creator, of course, our Lord, He's going to teach you that lesson until you learn it. You want to call it the universe, you're going to repeat it. You're going to repeat the lessons till you learn it. I know I've repeated lessons I had to learn. I should have went by the law, the real book, the Bible. Okay, those who believe, believe. Those who don't, but this is my channel, and that's how I'm coming forward. I'm not religious, but I do stand by that law. And because I had to learn that everything in that book was real, is real, and I had to learn the lessons behind it. So I'm here to help you learn the lessons too by sharing them with you so that you don't have to go through it. Hopefully, possibly, not giving advice because I am not an attorney nor am I a judge. So I cannot give you advice, as I said in my bio disclaimers. I'm just here to help you along the way with my life experiences, work experiences, other people's personal experiences without identifying them and stuff like that. So I'm going to leave it there. Feelings get in the way sometimes. Unfortunately, it happens either way. Yeah, but even if they do get married, keep a life separate from your stuff. Yeah. Even my first marriage, I kept my life. It's nice to love, and God wants you to have your oneness, and we all believe that the person we met is the person, and sometimes they're not. So that oneness sometimes can lead to having assets together, checking accounts, savings together, until that person shows you that they were never the one. So be careful and just protect yourselves out there. Today's time, you have to, if they don't agree, don't marry them. I like that. That's true. They don't agree, don't marry them. And that I believe now in prenups, because it's just too rampant, too prevalent out here of being taken of the assets you worked for, whether it be your home, your car. It could be anything, could be an asset to someone. The little you have, believe me, you have more than other people in the third world countries. So appreciate that first. Thank God for that, and try to keep it, because a lot of people will go out there to try to take it. So bringing you the truth and nothing but the truth on Court Affairs with me, your host with the most, Judge Desire for Knowledge, is now adjourned. I will see you guys next Saturday, God willing. Live, I'm not sure, but I'm going to try to go live if I don't have an event to go to. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, IAAH Radio Plus, for tuning in on the radio. Go download their app if you can't watch here on YouTube. Thanks for all the new subscribers. Thank you for listening today. And I appreciate each and every one of you all the time. What could I say? Thank you, Leisure Time. Go check her out. She's a travel agent. She's on Facebook. Leisure. I just want to say it right. Leisure Travels. Yeah, right? Yeah. Where is she? Yeah, Leisure Travels. And with them, she's on Facebook, so you can find out. And yeah, feelings get in the way sometimes. I'm still getting messages. Sorry, guys. It's a dog eat dog world, and we're wearing the milk boat. Leisure Time Travels. Leisure Time Travels. Go check them out so you can go travel. But I didn't mean for you to go travel and get married and get hurt out there. But we all deserve vacation time, especially when we work so hard. Yeah. So go check that out. Leisure Travel Time Travels on Facebook. You can contact her there. Gold Digger. Yeah. Gold Diggers. That's it. Yep. Leisure Time Travels. So if you're looking to travel, you want to set up, go to Leisure Time Travels and check her out. All right. Her name is Lily, and she'll give you the information. I don't like giving people information over this. You can check her out on Facebook under the name Leisure Time Travels. All right. And so I will see you all next week. Thank you, IAAH Radio Plus, with the best DJs in town, #1 CEO, DJ 5 a.m., who runs it. Thank you for having me on your channel, as well as the best DJs. I don't know all your names. DJ FM, my husband, DJ Bugging Hard. You can check him on Tuesday in the morning and Thursdays, and on Twitter and Mixcloud. And so, with that being said, go check their music. They have all genres on the It's All About House channel. And when you go to IAH Radio Plus, IAH Radio Plus is all genres. You can get every type of music, but if you go to it'sallabouthouse.com, you're going to get house music. So go check them out. They're pretty cool. I enjoy their music very much. And so with that being said, I will see you all next week, Saturday. God bless. Blessings. Love.